Welcome to part 4 of the card flip tutorial, and this is our progress so far. Okay, we've got our check button, our next button, which doesn't do anything yet, but it will soon with all our graphics. Press the card, flip it, we can't flip it again, and we read the question. The correct answer is C. We can drag our coins, put them in, it'll flash. Let's put a couple in C. All right, can't move the coins anymore. We've placed our bets, no taking them back. Press the check button, and we can see the correct answer and the wrong answer. And we can't press the check button anymore. I want to do something right now with these boxes. I want to do a couple of cleanup things right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is find my bet button. I actually want to tab that over just a couple of spaces. Find it's a little bit better, and I actually want to move these dynamic spaces, maybe not these ones though. I want to move them down a tiny bit as well. Good enough. I may find other things I want to touch up, but right now I want to go into the coin spaces, and where we have that thing there, I'm going to add, I'll just do it above, add a keyframe here. Let's zoom in, and I'm going to grab my line tool with that green and solid. I think I might make this, I'll try 3. And I want to make a check mark. Just something like that. Let's position where I want it. Okay, something like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that over. Don't need that frame though. Right there. And I'm going to get rid of that piece. I'm going to take that one, make it red. Copy and paste it in place and transform it horizontally, and I'll take the whole thing and just squish it down a bit like that. What happened there? What happened there? There we go. There we go. I'm not sure it really needs to be squished, but just a little bit. Let's try that. That's going to be the right answer. Let's get a couple of wrong ones. Okay, so I see it there. Good, because we have it in that frame. Might actually want to bring that up a little bit. And also make this something like, let's try 5 and see if that's a little bit crazy, or see if that looks good. Let's try that. Okay. Well, I can't do it again. Let's make sure we got at least one right one. Okay. All right. Yeah, I like that. That's good enough for the time being. So I'm going to call this right wrong. Whoops. Right wrong. And I can just copy these frames, but I got to do it in all of the coin spaces. Just take me a minute. Just lock everything. It doesn't particularly matter where I put it. And the last one, then we'll test it out again. Oops, not there, sorry. Save it and test it. Okay, flip it over. We can move these into any of these spaces. Those were all wrong. Try to get at least one right one. There we go. It just looks a little bit better at that point when I do that. Okay, cool. Was I not recording that? I am recording that. The next thing I want to do is I want to enable and disable this check button. So it only works after the card has been flipped, and it'll only act once. So here you can see I can press the check button. All right, but when I first start the game, I don't want to be able to press this until we flip the card over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that within the card itself. So I'm going to come into here where we've got our card flip animation, and before it's flipped in the actions, I'm going to say root.betButton.enabled equals false. So when that frame plays, which it will play at the beginning of the game before the card's flipped, you cannot click this check button. And I'll show you that. Before we flip this card, see, I can't press it. Then I want to press it, and it's still disabled. I want to enable it at that point. So all I got to do is come over to this frame of the action script, of the actions layer, once it's flipped over. And I'm going to say root.betButton.enabled equals true. And so, nope. Yep. And then once I press it once, we already put the code to disable it again. So we're good like that. All right, let's do a little bit of work on the next button. First thing I want to do is I want to adjust the position of that a little bit. I want to move it down, okay, and a bit over. And so that's where it's going to be. And as you can see, the next button is already available. Now we don't have another card to play yet, but I don't want it enabled yet. So what I'm going to do is up in the actions on the first frame, I'm going to come down. I can do it anywhere. I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to say root.nextButton, btn.enabled equals false. So when I first start the game, check button doesn't work. Next button does work. Okay, so what did I do here? And let me check that out. Yeah, when stuff like that doesn't work, first thing you should do, come down here and make sure that there's an actual instance name so you can actually call it with your action script. There, next button. Okay, can't click it. Can't click this. What I do want to have happen is once I click the card, now I can press the check button. Once I press the check button, that's when the next button becomes available to move to the next frame. So I'm just going to come to the bet button here, and I'm going to say on release, I can do it right up here just to keep it out of the way, root.nextButton.enabled equals true. And you will see, it doesn't work. Flip the card, drag your coins wherever you want them to be, press the check button, and now the next button works. Although we got a lot more to do, I think at this point we're pretty much ready to start another frame with another card, and then we can go back and do a few things we need to do. So I'm creating more frames there, and I'm going to drag my stop over. Now there's a number of things that will have to get repeated and things we'll need new instances of. So for example, we're going to need new coins, so F6. Definitely going to need a new card, F6. I'm going to need a new next button, so F6 there. A new page number, a new best button, and I believe the coin spaces can stay, the card spaces. The dynamic text, they have to be changed, right? Yeah, they do. Okay, so the dynamic texts are going to change so we can put new numbers in there. At the very top, I'm going to say, oh, I've already done it. I've just got copied it over, okay? I'm going to get rid of this score. I don't want to restart the score there, but I do want the amounts of the bet amounts to be set back to 0, and the next button will be false, so that when we go to the next frame, we'll start with it unable to be depressed. So I just want to check and see if I've set up my next button so that it will take us to the next frame. Root.goTo and stop 2. Okay, so in order to tell that we're on the next page, let's go to the page number and change that quickly. So I'll come up to here. That's the top layer. I'm just going to tap it up by 2 so I can easily change that to 2 and the lower one to 2, and then grab the top one, bring it down by 2 again. So we're on page 2. So let's just go ahead and try this and see if we can get through. Can't do that. Can't go ahead. Got to flip the card. At that point, still can't do the next button. I could do the check if I want to skip, but I will go ahead and bet. And I'm going to bet on C and on D. Check. I had 2 here, 1 there. 2 minus 1 is 1. Can't do this again. Next page, I'm on the second one. Now, as you can see, when I went to the next page, the cards stayed the same, and these stayed the same, and the coins stayed the same. So I'm going to have to reset all of that stuff in order to make the coin spaces go back to their original positions. All right, after we've done this, and we've dragged some coins in, and we've done this kind of thing. That's a problem with making the hit zone smaller than the coin itself. Once we do this, you know, when I go to the next frame, to get those back to 0, I'm going to come up to the actions layer on the second frame, up at the very top. I'll come down here, and I'm going to go root.coin space a.goTo and stop back into its first frame. I'm going to copy that and do that for all of the coin spaces. 2, 3, 4. Change that to B, C, D. Give it a try. Just arbitrarily dropping these anywhere. Check. Next, and we're back to 0. We're also going to have to reset the position of the coins, but as you can see, these are all done. The card is done, so we'll be doing all of that. But let's go ahead actually and make another card, because that'll be kind of fun to do. So we're on frame 2. Right click, duplicate. This is going to be card 2. I'm going to change the instance name to card 2. And I'm going to come into the card, and this, I can still use the same card front. That's not going to change anything. But back here, I don't want card 1 back. I want to duplicate this and call this card 2 back. And I need to change that at this position as well. So I'm going to grab the symbol and swap it with card 2 back. Now I'll come over here, and I can now edit this, no problem. So I'll come to the number and the symbol, and I'll switch this to 2, this to 2, and then I'm going to come up to the question. Now once again, I'm just going to make up, you know, sort of arbitrary questions, nothing too out of this world. We're talking about cells, so let's just keep this kind of simple and say, say what? How about this? The organelle that makes proteins, computer's lagging a little bit, makes proteins for the cell is the. And this is good because I'm now extended down to 4 lines. Just want to double check that it looks okay, and it does. Let's make this the correct one. The organelle that makes proteins is the ribosome. So A is going to be the right answer. let's say, nucleolus, which will be a little tricky because the nucleolus makes the ribosomes, but the ribosomes make the proteins. Nucleolus, I don't know, chloroplast, mix in a plant cell. Chloroplast, and let's say Golgi. Golgi body. Like that. And that's named after a person, so it's capitalized. Okay, so we have another card. And we also know that the answer was A. So let's see if we can figure out and remember how to change this. Where did I do that? No, I wouldn't have done it in the coin space. Probably in the bet button. Let's double check that. Okay, yeah, now the correct answer is A. So in A, I want to stop on the second frame. Switch this back to the third frame. So if a coin is in space A, and I press the bet button, it's going to stop at frame 2, which is the green and the check mark. These all be red with the X, but this we have to do. We have to change this. The score is going to be A minus all the others, and it doesn't matter what order you put these in. C, B, and D. All right, let's just check that so far. Here's the first one. I'm just going to play one coin, okay? And that was wrong, and we're minus already. Now come to the next frame. Yeah, the coins, I'm going to do that. Okay, so there's the card. That's all working good. Can't move that. Can I move these coins? The correct answer is A. Let's see if this works. Notice, by the way, these got reset. There's my check button, and I'm getting it right. And this is primed to go to the next one. So we still have some work to do with those coins. So what I want to do with the coins is I want them to always start off at the same position. And the way I like to do this is in the first frame, I am going to move that stuff around. That's the score stuff. I'm going to just paste this in for a moment. We'll talk about this. When the game starts, I want coin 1's X position to be 150 and Y position to be 800. Now that's off of the screen. All right, 250 for the X, 800 off the screen, 350, 800 off the screen. So if I look at this, they're not on the screen. And that's because I want to animate them in when I hit the, when the card flips over. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So, for example, we come back to my original. The coins are not there. Excuse me. There's some spaces there. But when I flip the coin, that's when they slide up. All right? So that slide up animation is, I believe it's in the card. If I come into it, once it flips, it could be there. It's not there. Where is it? Where is that? All right, I found it. It's actually on the coin itself. And there's a number of different ways that you could do this. This is the way that I did it for my game. All right, so if I come to the first coin, click right on it, I said this. I said on clip event enter frame, I want set the speed to 20. And if this, meaning the coin, if its Y position was greater than or equal to in the Y direction, in other words, greater than the final position I want it to end up at, which is 650. So for example, let me come back to here. You see, I've got, oh geez. Well, that's where I wanted it to end up. If it was greater than that, and the card was flipped, I want it to set that particular speed. I want it to move at 20. And I want it to go in the upwards direction, so that's minus Y. And then at that position, I want to set the speed to 0. So I think I'll just copy this over for the moment, and we'll make some changes to it, and we'll talk about this. So I'll go ahead, and I'll come over to the coins, and I'll do it on the first one. All right, I'll just paste it in. All right. And this position here is going to be Y650. All right. And what I'm saying is if it's more than that, then it's going to move up. So I'm starting the coins. I'm starting that first coin at X 150, so, certain distance in, but way down there. And then I say, if it's greater than or less than 650, then move. So it's going to move up until it hits 650, and then it's going to stop. All right. So let me see if I've got enough for it to work. Oh, I don't yet, because I've also got to set this card flip stuff. All right. So if card flip is true, so here's what I'm going to do. I called it card flip. And so what I'll do is I'll come into the card, and at that point, that's where it's flipped. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say var card flip. I'm not sure if I have to do 1 equals true. Let me go back and see if I have to do card flip 1. Keep locking my layers to be safe. Nope, I just have to say card flip. Now you'll notice I've got 2 equal signs. That's because when you're in brackets, you have to use equals equals. But when you're outside, you don't. So when card flip is true, then it will move. So let's see if I've got enough there. So nothing's happening. Do that. And see see it came up, and it's ready to be dragged. All right. So I want to take this and put it on all of my coins. Okay. And the Y position is the same for all of them, but the X position will be based on what I said in here. All right. They're all going to be at X position 150, 250, and 350, but they're all starting lower down. So they're going to be spread out. And I'm not manipulating the X position here because I'm just affecting the Y speeds, which is going to move upwards at that defined X position, all when the card flips. So here we go. Flip. All 3 coins come up and they're ready to go, and they're spaced out. And I can go ahead and I can drag them and bet. Check. Go to the next frame. Now you'll notice that the coins are still here on the next frame. Let me just do that again. Let me do this, and let me check without doing anything. Go to the next frame. So they stay up there. So we're going to have to reset them. And let me just double check something here. So I've set them up here. This is where I want them to start at the beginning. I bet you I don't have it there. No, I don't. And so that's why. So put them there. And so when I go to the second frame, the cards should, or the coins should start at the bottom once I flip the coin. But on this one, I didn't say it yet for the card flip. So we've got to come to the card. And at this point, I got to say var card flip equals true. Flip, place your bets, check, next button, flip, and the coins didn't come up. So what that means is I only placed the code on the coins in the first frame. All right, so let me make sure I've got this. Let's double check that. Here's coin 1 there. It's not there. And I have to reset them. Okay, let's try it. Flip the card, coins come up. Bet. Check. Everything's good. Next. Coins aren't there. Next button's disabled. Check is disabled. Flip the card. Coin still didn't come up. So let's double check and see why that is. Well, it's very simple. When stuff like this happens, just go back and have a look at your code and realize I'm dealing with card 2, not card 1 anymore. When card 2 flips, that's when these should come up. Save it and check, see if it works. Those ones came up. Let me go to the next one. Flip the card. There we go. These ones are ready. And do we even already code that answer? A is the right answer. Yeah, it looks like we already did, and we got our score. Now let's actually go back and see if we are maintaining our score. So here's my coins. The correct answer is C. So let's pile them all on C. Betting 3 on C. Check. I've got a score of 3. Next, I've kept my score of 3, and I'm going to pile them all on A. 1, 2, 3 on A. Yes, and I've gone to 6. Then I would go to the next frame. Okay, at this point, we are getting quite far along in the game and in the coding, and I'm just going to continue to make a few questions, and we may have to come back here and there and touch up some things we don't have right. So I'm going to drag that across. I need new coins. Coins are above the card. Let me just double check something. Yeah, that's good. We need a new card. It's basically a repeat of all of these ones that we had before. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the page number. I'll do all the easy stuff first. Just move it up a bit, change that to a 3, get the bottom one, no, it's a total of 6 or so, get that one, take that, there we go, page number is done. Let's go have a look at our next button, make sure that when we're on frame 2, it's going to lead us into frame 3. Okay, this root go to and stop. 3. I am doing the release outside here where I've been skipping it elsewhere. Next button is set. There is no back button. I don't want them to be able to go back and then do it right and increase their score. I've done page number and that. Let's go ahead and do another card. I'll click on this, make sure I'm in the right frame. Third frame. Duplicate this, call this card 3, an instance name card 3. Okay, I'm going to come in and change just the back, not the front. Duplicate this to card 3 back. And right at this spot, during the flip, I'm going to swap this card 3 back, but I'm going to come out to this one so I can edit it. I'm going to come in and I'm going to change this to number 3 and that to number 3, and I'm going to make up another question and I'll have a different one. Correct? Okay. What do we know? Let's say this. Very simple. Unlike animal cells, comma, plant cells contain and let's go for D this time, and let's say chloroplasts. This one will say centrioles, which is not true. Animal cells have centrioles, plant cells don't. Nuclei, ribosomes. We'll just leave that. Okay, we're just trying to do quick questions. All right, the correct answer is going to be D in this case. Let's go back out to here and let's make sure I've got a card flip. Yeah, I got a card flip in there, so that's good. Okay, next button, cards. Well, I guess we got to do the bet button, right? So let's come up to the bet button. And the correct answer is D. So we want to change that to 2. I could, of course, make these like this and, you know, and have those frame labels in there. But it's pretty simple. 2, change that to 3. If D is the right answer, we want to take the score at D and we want to subtract A, B, and C. I did that a weird way. So that's going to work. What else? What are we missing? You know, the dynamic tech, everything. You know, that could be it. The thing about this game is, for testing purposes, unless you set it up differently, you have to start at the beginning. So I may skip some of the actual betting. I just want to make sure, yep, I'm on frame 3. I've got a card. I'm going to flip it. And my coins didn't come up. And I know why. I know why. Come into these coins. It's the same mistake as before. Do I actually have the code on these ones? I do. And I've got to change this to card 3. Yeah, at least I make the same mistake again and again so that it's easy to solve. But really, that could potentially be all there is to it. It's not an overly flashy game. You know, there's not a lot of bells and whistles. It's just something that works. So let's try this one. Yep, the coins come up. All right, so let's do this like a quiz. Unlike animal cells, plant cells contain, geez, I'm not sure. I think it's D. I'm willing to bet 2 on that, but it might be C. So let me try 1 on that, and let's see. Oh, okay, it was D. I got 2 minus 1, so I get a score. And of course, the idea is to try to get the highest score, get all the coins in all the right place. But I'm also learning about this, you know, this quiz or this game by seeing sort of the true falseness of it as well. So, you know, it's kind of fun that way. And then we go on to the next one. Okay, so let's keep it going and just do a little bit more. Drag the actions over. They aren't really needing to change. Everything is reset, so that's great. New keyframe there, new one there, new one there, new one there, there, and there. I'll do the same thing I did before. Page number changes. I think I'll end it after this. Okay? Page 4. 4. Good. We've got that done. Let's do our next button. Make sure it will take us to the next frame. We want to go, we're on 4, we want to go to 5. I want to double check this one. This one is going to take us to 4. And this one, of course, should have taken us to 3, or else we couldn't have got there before. Yeah, that works. Okay, next button is good. Page number is done. Let's do a card. In the right frame. Duplicate this. This will be card 4. Change the instance name to card 4. Go into it. Change just the back, so duplicate the back so we don't overwrite what we've got. Done that before many times. Card 3 back. Do it where it flips as well. Just got to swap the symbol. Card 4 back. We'll come back in here. And we'll change the numbers first. Number 4. Number 4. And we'll change the question. No. Yeah. Spindle fibers are produced by this organelle. Okay. I'll just go for B. Centriole. vacuole. Now, if I wanted to write endoplasmic reticulum, I'm not going to spell it. It might not fit. I mean, I could go ER, in which case I'm just not going to choose that. Lysosome. Cell membrane. Let's see if that fits. Yep. Okay, cool. So the correct answer is going to be B. I'm not saying that these are good questions. All right, you'd spend some time doing that. Just double check. Yep, the card flip is in there. And you know what I'm going to do right now? Just to prove that I'm not a complete failure here. I do have more coins, right? These are the right coins. I'm going to up this to card 4. I don't want to forget that 3 times in a row. Now, I'm not crazy about the spacing when these cards first appear, the coins, sorry. I like them here. I'm not crazy about them being spaced out so much, so I might do something about that. But I got that, and what was the correct answer now? I actually don't remember anymore. Centrioles, was it? I think it was B. Right? B was the correct answer. Centriole, yeah. So we're going to come to the bet button, and it becomes really simple to do once you've done it a few times, right? The original coding is done. And B is the correct answer, so I'm going to switch that to 2. I'm going to switch this to 3. I want the score to deal with this B, A, D, and C. And I think we've got it. Let's go from the very beginning. Flip. Yeah, you see this spacing. I don't like that. And I also don't like this. The fact that, you know, but I mean, that gets into hit tests, and I know there are some more accurate ways of doing this. I'm fine with it. Okay, most people are going to drag it right into there before they drop it. All right. Geez, everything was wrong. -3. I better start doing better. Flip the coin. Okay. Organelle that makes proteins. Well, that's the I spelled that wrong, didn't I? It's the ribosomes. I'm going to go for the ribosome for everything. Maybe it'd be cool as you mouse over the coin, it glows a bit, you know? That would be a nice little touch too. 3, check. Okay, I'm at 0. Good. Let's go on. Unlike animal cells, plant cells contain chloride. It's got to be D. So let's get some points going here, so I don't look like a crazy guy at the very end. Check. Good. Okay, I got 3. Check. Nothing else matters. Okay. And here's the next one. The coins came up. Spindle fibers, oh boy. Okay, I'm going to fix up all the spelling. Are produced by this organelle, centriole. Let's go for 2 there, and 1 might be vacuole. Okay. Okay, there we go. And then we're good. Okay, let's go back and fix up the spelling on these. It's on the back of the card, and it's in the text. Spindle fibers are produced by this organelle, and that's centrioles, even spelled wrong. Centriole, lysosome cell membrane. Okay, good. That's good. And let me double check. I thought there was a spelling mistake on this card as well. Ribosomes, nuclei, centrioles, chloroplasts. Was it not that card? Maybe it was the second card. Yeah, there it is. Oh, got to go into the back. In the text. Oops. Nucleolus. There we go. All right. Come back. Zoom out a bit. Lock everything up. Save it. So far, so good. All right, let me see what we're going to do next. All right, well, let's just end this game off, all right? Let's make one more frame here. F5. Pull that stop over. Now, I'm going to make some adjustment, but at this point, you don't need the coins anymore. So I'm going to F7. I don't need the cards anymore. I'll keep the next button, the page button. I don't need the bet button anymore. I don't need the coin spaces anymore, F7, or the card space anymore. Now, of this stuff, for the dynamic text stuff, I'm going to put F6 there, and I'm going to get rid of all of these ones, but I'm going to keep this one, all right, because I'm going to be talking about that. And I don't need the reference image anymore, so I'm going to delete that so my file's not as big. I'm also going to do something here. I'm going to come to this, and I'm going to select unused items, and I'm going to delete anything I haven't used in the game. Okay, and now we shall just come and put somewhere, it doesn't really matter where, I'll put it just below where the props were. I'm going to write some text in here. Okay, let's go with, let's try impact, see how it looks, and center it, and all this stuff. And let's make it a lot bigger. Okay, that's what I'm going to do, something like that, so capitalized. Like that. Okay. Let's try another color, see what that looks like. Congratulations. Okay, let's go drag another one down. Maybe I'll switch to Verdana at that point. And white. And a little bit smaller. I'll try this. You know, something like that. Okay, so we got some like end text there. And let's make sure that we put this not at the beginning of the game, but on that very last frame. And let's double check where that dynamic text is showing up. Let's bring that all up. And you know, that might be a bit small. You could change the size of that, but let's just see. Now, let's come back up to the actions up here. And I don't need to disable the next button. I don't need that amount anymore. I don't need the coin spaces or the coins. I don't think I need any of that stuff. All right. And what I will do is I'll set the next button though there. I'll make another keyframe there because we will be doing stuff with that. And of course the page button I'm going to change as well. So there are still a couple things to do. I'm going to set this though to go back to frame 1 in case they want to replay the game. And I'm going to change the page number as well. And I'm going to call it page 5. You could call it page X, or you could write something in there, win or end. But I'll just do this. Okay, we got that. We got that. And what else was I going to do? Again, you know, you might want to have it a little bit fancier. But let's see. Are we ready to roll? I think we are. Let's give it a try. All right. Flip. Oh yeah, there's the spacing issue as well. Ribosome. Nucleus. Nucleus. What do I get? I get 1 mark. 1 point. $1. Flip. Organelle makes proteins. Ribosome. I'm going for all ribosome. 2, 3 coins. Check. Yep. All right. 4 points. Flip. Chloroplasts. 1 there. 1 there. 1 there because I'm not sure, let's say. Check. Okay, my score's 5 so far. And obviously you can make that bigger or colorful or whatever you want, or do a little animation when the score shows up. Flip. I think this is the last one. Page 4, question 4. Spindle fibers are produced by the centriole. Let's go with C, B, A, just to see what happens. Oh, I'm down to 4. Bang. Your high score was 4. So it carried on the score. Obviously, you probably maybe want to have that big, or maybe you want to have some animations here. Let's see what happens when I hit the next button. I come back. I'm at 0. There are no coins, and the check button is disabled. The next button is disabled. I'm set to go. I'm ready to flip the first one. So we've pretty much made the game. Additional things that you could add to this would be some instructions. All right, whether you want to have a little instruction panel or something along those lines. Some more fancy animations as things happen, maybe as you mouse over the coin or as the score is added up, all of these things. And of course, the actual design, you want to go for a nice color scheme. I'm not particularly thrilled with this dotted line. I don't think it blends in very well, so I would probably work on that a little bit more. But you want your buttons relatively nice and big to be able to click them. And that's basically how I would do this. So I hope you enjoyed this series. I really enjoyed making this for you. And if you're a teacher and you try this out and you ever get it to work with your students, I'd love to hear about that. And I wish you all the best. Hope you come join me in a future tutorial, because I'm certainly going to do more. Thank you so much. Take care.